Alright, Schlockmeister fans, going back to the VHS well tonight. We're going to watch an old Paragon video movie called Deadline. Of course, being modern times, we have burned this thing to a DVD-R. Let's check it out. Here we meet the Leslie family. Father's a writer, famous horror writer.
Hold it, boy. Go give your father a kiss, okay?
Now, I promise you that as soon as I finish this new story, that we're all going to go on a long and wonderful vacation. All of us. And I'm not going to do any work. We're just going to play you, David, and Philip.
Scattered throughout this film are various horror scenes, which are things that he's writing or thinking about writing. It really doesn't have anything to do with the plot itself. Today he's giving a lecture at a school.
Subsequent books and films prove that Mr. Leslie's sense of the horrifying and the macabre have made an indelible mark on our society and culture. Before I ask Steve to talk about himself and his...
Before he speaks, they actually show a clip from his new film, Anatomy of a Horror, which features some sort of satanic goat. It's these little scenes that provide us some of the best score in the film altogether.
What do you mean?
Some of the students abuse him.
I think horror represents a way of relating to numerous events that otherwise we might never be able to identify.
Well, I don't want to identify with horror.
Well, that's tough.
Here's another one of the scenes thrown in this movie. We have a couple of adorable children dragging their grandma around by a rope.
Oh, I'm thinking, eh? Oh, isn't that nice?
She seems to be enjoying it for a while.
Oh.
And here are those adorable kids dousing their grandmother with gasoline. Aren't they cute? And here are those adorable kids lighting grandma on fire. What a big, wide, wonderful world we live in. He and his wife aren't exactly in marital bliss right now.
You mean meet me
I don't know what time I'll finish at the studio. I'll meet you at the party, all right?
No.
If you want me back on the set, then you get this motherfucker to write me some lines.
They're filming a movie.
Understand? I want lines. Call my agent.
That's Jeannie Alliance. The
You
Jeannie
have some fucking nerve calling yourself a director.
was the babysitter in The Pit.
Dominique.
Here's Mom. She's a bit of a drunk. She's also on drugs. Daddy comes to help.
You were supposed to meet me at mother. You forgot. You always forget.
Another one of the little writing segments that's popped in here. It's about a fetus who basically killed itself.
Number 5. The postmortem gave the same result. It is as if suicide has been committed in the womb.
And here's another story of his involving a priest and some ravenous nuns who are hungry to eat some priest. His kids don't respect him anymore.
Motherfucker.
Remember those hungry nuns? Well, here they are eating the priest. Yummy. He doesn't want to write crappy horror anymore.
No more Schlockmeisters. From now on, we are building. I'll see you later. Write some mean
He finds his wife at this party doing lines with this fella.
You write some mean shit.
Really sit, really sit.
Elizabeth, please, it's time to go.
Uh-oh, party's over.
Bye.
Another one of the stories within the movie. This is a punk band, but their music causes homeless people to have reactions. What kind of reactions, you ask? Bursting bellies. Jeannie Elias on the set again.
That's because you're too stupid to memorize your lines.
Hey, now let's not start that again. I'm tired of you two bitching each other every time you meet. Got it?
An hour ago, a pre-teenage killing. Police are on the scene at the moment of what many have already termed the most shocking tragedy of the year. Two children aged 9 and 7 hanged their 5-year-old sister while playing. Both parents were
That's right.
outside for the
Let's go for the
details of
sensation.
bizarre act.
The famous execution.
But that horrible accident happened to Stephen's
Depicting
family.
A series of hangings by children apparently prompted his two sons to mimic the scene using their 7-year-old sister as the victim. While
When Stephen gets home, he finds out, yep,
Dr. Masters.
his daughter's dead.
But they were only playing. No.
Boys,
Stephen, don't you dare.
Stephen's angry at the wife
someone wasn't she with someone?
because no one was watching them.
Well, tell them what kind of a mommy she was. Tell them. Why? Why?
Stephen, stop it.
Why? Why? Why?
I hate you, Daddy, I hate you.
So his publisher, who's been wanting to get more pages and books out of him, tries to get his mind off the tragedy by taking him to a party. So he's been pressuring him for a new script, and then at one point he goes home to discover that his wife has left him. Stephen didn't get on this flight that he was supposed to. He doesn't care anymore. Instead, he decides to have his own party. He goes out, picks up a bunch of ladies in a bar who I think are hookers, and brings them home to the house. While there, he puts on one of his films. He's high and drunk and whatever else, he sees images of his daughter and what happened to her. And he has a freak out. He kicks all the ladies out and they trash the place on their way. Back to his writing, and then we see
All I gotta do, I sneak around in the middle of the night and shoot us off.
a flashback of a threat from his wife. Presumably this is the wife. Alright, let's talk about this movie called Deadline. It's a movie I had on a VHS tape. My fellow Schlockmeister Jeff taped this for me back, I believe, the summer of '89. It's actually one of the very first movies that I taped on VHS when I was going from beta to VHS. Finally made the move. This is one of the first movies. I watched it at that time. I kind of enjoyed it. And then I saw it again, I think in 2012 when I reviewed it on my first YouTube channel. I like this movie. I saw it again today, obviously. I read a review about it from the Unknown Movie homepage, which is a pretty good horror movie review place on the internet, and he didn't like it, though. He hated this movie. I disagree. I enjoyed it. Is it a masterpiece? Hell no. But it's pretty enjoyable, I thought, anyway. It's a Canadian horror movie, Canexploitation, as they call it. Incidentally, Jeannie Elias is in it. You may remember her from the movie The Pit. She was the babysitter in that one. It's the only two movies I'm aware that she, or that I know of that she's in. She did a lot of cartoon work, too. But anyway, she's in these two horror movies. Anyway, the movie stars this guy named Stephen Young. He plays Stephen Lessie. He's like a Stephen King type horror writer. That's what he does. And he's very involved in his work. He's getting a lot of pressure at home and from his publisher. He's got to get a new book out, some new pages out, and they're constantly pressuring him for more. And he's kind of getting tired of the genre now, and he wants to get to like true horror, real horror, as he calls it. But what exactly that is, I don't know. And his wife is now starting to party too much. She's using cocaine. She's drinking. The kids are getting neglected because he's overworked and she's overdrugged. So things are just kind of falling apart all around him. And throughout this movie, we get scenes from, I guess there's supposed to be ideas in his head about movie scenes and horror stuff that he's been written that may or may not be part of his next new book. I don't know. A lot of his movies are made into horror movies too. I'm sorry, a lot of his books are made into horror movies, kind of like Stephen King also. So there's these just little shorts thrown in there, like with these kids burning the grandmother, which was pretty funny. There's a woman in a shower scene. The shower explodes in blood. And then there's that ridiculous scene where this punk band is playing and their music somehow causes people's stomachs to explode. Again, these are all parts of a future potential book he's writing, and it doesn't work out. Anyway, everything falls apart. His wife ends up leaving him. He has his party with some hookers and some drugs. He gets into the drugs too. They all leave. They trash the house, and then his wife comes back and shoots him, and that's how our movie ends. Deadline. There you go. Again, yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It doesn't have a major cast of anybody that you ever really heard of. It's got a couple of nude scenes thrown in, the full frontal nudity, that woman in the shower in the beginning, some topless scenes with those hookers at the end, and a few decent gore scenes, actually. And, of course, that hilarious scene where the two kids burn their grandmother after dousing her with gasoline. Love that, right? Quite a scene. Anyway, yeah, not available on DVD. It was put out by Paragon Video and VHS back in the 80s, which I showed you at the beginning of this review. I have since put this on a DVD-R and made some box art for it, which is pretty much a direct duplicate of what the VHS looked like. So anyway, it's called Deadline. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. Maybe this is streaming on YouTube. Who knows? If not, I'll put a link to the Amazon link where you can purchase this in VHS if you want. Watch this movie. Tell me what you think about it. Watch it. Bye.